Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. So in reading some emails recently, it occurred to me that healing from narcissistic relationships, from narcissistic abuse, whether it was a parent or a relationship, healing from those relationships is very much like grieving. We all do it at our own pace. We all do it in our own way. Each one of us had a different relationship and a different length of time for being in that relationship, a different experience. Just as if you lose someone, your relationship's time of knowing that person is completely different from somebody else. So we're not going to grieve in the same way, nor are we going to heal in the same way. I'll be honest, I shudder a little bit when I read about people who have been out of these relationships, narcissistic relationships, for 5, 8, 10, 12 years, and they're still dealing with that fallout, the emotional fallout. It's unpleasant to hear. It's even more unpleasant to think that it goes on for that long. However, we're all different. That doesn't mean that I'll be in that place 8, 10, 12, 15 years from now. It doesn't mean that I, won't be. It doesn't mean that you will be. The comparison game is a slippery slope. Just the way we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people. Let's not do that in the healing process. I think it's really critical that you keep in mind that everyone's relationship, everyone's time for healing, everyone's way of healing is different. So don't get caught up in the comparison game in life in general, but also in the healing process. You got to find what works for you. Some people will take on something new, a new hobby, a new job. You'll move. Some people will date. Some people will steer clear of it. I mean, it's different for everybody. So there is no right or wrong. That's why I realized that it's like grieving. It's very much like grieving, and I'm still going through the grieving process when it comes to my father, and there is no right or wrong. We all do it in a different way. We all grieve in a different way. It would stand to reason that we would all heal in a different way. I've mentioned it in other videos. When you go no contact, it's a slow process. You can see I start smiling just thinking about it. It's a slow process, but things start to change. Your life starts to change. I think that those creative nooks and crannies in that part of your brain that was caught up in fight or flight or just shut down for a while, I think it opens back up. A lot of things, a lot of doors in there open back up, and they're no longer preoccupied with that abuse. They're no longer preoccupied with the negativity associated with an abusive relationship. So everything changes. You start to find things out about yourself, and your creative outlets kind of start to spill open. You're going to do more things, and you're going to want to do more things, and you're going to find things out about yourself that you didn't even know. And that's going to help you with your healing. You're going to want to channel those things, cook, meditate, yoga, exercise, pick up a new hobby, learn an instrument, whatever works for you, whatever it might be for you, it's not going to be the same for somebody else. Really keep that in mind. Really embrace the fact that you will open up in ways that you didn't think you could. You might find yourself doing things that you didn't even think you were capable of. You need to enjoy that, and you need to enjoy the process. It might be a trial and error thing. You might try bowling or painting or a hobby or interests. They smother those things. Narcissists smother our creativity. They smother that outlet in us that wants to do new things, that wants to try new things. And when they're no longer around, you get to do whatever you want. So there's that. So again, back to my main point, the healing process to me is very much like the grieving process. Everybody's doing it in their own way. Everybody's at their own pace. There is no right or wrong. So don't compare your process to anyone else's. Just do your own thing. Do what feels right for you. Do what you need, and listen to your mind and listen to your body in that process, because your body's going to tell you a lot. You know, if you feel you need to rest, then you rest. The one thing I always recommend right out of the gate is finding a good therapist, finding a good counselor. If any of you have ever contacted me, you know that is the first thing I ask you. And it's because it's so critical. It's so critical to have that outlet. It's so critical to have that person to reach out to. And some of you reach out to me, and that's great. I'm not licensed. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. I will listen, and I do care, and I do understand. If nothing else, I totally understand. I think that's the one thing that is really a struggle with this issue, is most people don't understand. We don't have stitches, we don't have bruises, we're not all beat up. No one sees it. So they figure, oh, you know, you're just being a baby, suck it up, whatever, you know. It just gets dismissed. As all of you know, it's not that simple. It's you don't just dismiss emotional abuse. So take your time, find your pace, find what works for you, find your outlets, and just hold on to them. And just do what works and do what feels right. Make sure you're no contact. Make sure that you are talking with a professional, and you'll get there. It's so worth it to break free of these awful, awful relationships and the negativity that comes along with them. That's it for today. I'm going to be announcing something kind of special here in the near future, so make sure you check out upcoming videos. Ciao for now.